Welcome everybody back to another Bold Cast Reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 4. Dear God. Last week was insane. First of all, thank you guys for the support on that video and the short, and it was great. Just as every week for this season has been crazy, and you guys have been awesome, and thank you guys for enjoying the reactions and sticking with us once again. Thank you very much. We're getting a lot of success from this, and we're just really happy that, you know, it's not as often that like our interest like peaks with something and like the audience peaks with something, and both things are in a line and we're all just moving together. It's like the best feeling as a content creator when like everybody's on board and it's all like really fun. But aside from that, show's really good. The show's really good this season, and was not expecting that at all. I mean, we were expecting her to die.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were not expecting the show to be good. I was
not expecting the quality.
What?
I was expecting to be disappointed. No, yeah, I didn't expect things to turn out that way.
No.
I don't know, like, what happens from here. Like, I wonder if, like, because she's in Tengen-sama's lair that she will be still assimilated? If she's dead? You know? I don't know.
Maybe, or if they have to just find someone else.
Yeah, but I just wonder about Tengen-sama's, like...
We're just not gonna get anything more about that. It's just gonna still be baiting us and making it all mysterious. It's
very mysterious, because Tengen-sama chose them to do this. I wonder, and we don't know the extent of Tengen-sama's, like, intelligence necessarily, or foresight, or, you know, there's so many unknowns with it, and I just there's so much room for speculation about, like, I don't know, maybe was this part of like Tengen-sama's plan, or were they just trying to really just get that vessel, or were they trying to manipulate Gojo and Geto in some way, or something by like showing them this thing? Maybe Tengen-sama has like some sort of predictive quality or something like that, if they're like a godlike creature. I don't know. It's just because if they chose Gojo and Geto for like for this mission just to transport the vessel, then I don't know. Was it just that simple and I'm overthinking it, or I don't know.
I think maybe, like, I think they make sense, and no one else would have been able to sneak up on Gojo, and like so many things had to happen for them to be able to get snuck up on like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, he had to have been using his eyes for so long that then with a specific deadline and with all of these other clowns coming after them, and also just the fact that, like, the guy who ended up sneaking up on him is, like, super sneaky and smart. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, no one ever noticed me before. Gojo also had to make the decision for her to stay at the beach for longer. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things kind of like went wrong, or like happened in a very specific way that allowed this to happen.
Yeah, but if the other question I have, like, with maybe there's like a greater plan or something, there's probably not, and this is over speculation. But if Tengen-sama chose them because they were strong, Tengen-sama must have known enough about them to like, maybe, I don't imagine, because here's how I think about it. I don't imagine Tengen-sama, this like highly mutated tree person or whatever the hell they are, to be sitting there reading files on like their exploits and Gojo and Geto's success, and like sitting there like poring over the document. Where I'm going with this is part of them is that they chose together, without really talking about it very much, that they would release Riko if she wanted to leave. So if Tengen-sama knew anything about them, then, and maybe there's like a deeper connection there. Maybe they could have predicted that they would have like let her go, or something. You see what I'm saying? Like, maybe it wasn't just simply, oh, these guys are strong, they're the best for the job, I need this vessel, and that's it. Maybe there's some other emotional aspect to this. Is like, maybe there's another dimension to choosing them, or choosing Riko, or I guess they're not technically chosen in that way, but I don't know. I guess all of this is rooted from a lack of understanding about Tengen-sama and a curiousness about that. So, and I don't know how emotional they are. I don't know how, like, if they have some sort of predictive quality, if they are like this godlike being, because they create barriers, and they're insanely powerful, and they have this underground temple village thing that was like built to worship them or to seal them.
Literally no idea.
You brought that up off screen before.
That, I'm just like, why is that there? What is that?
I have a feeling that question, I mean, if people are revering Tengen-sama as like a godlike figure, then it's like they're likely not the first people to do it today. You know,
Yeah.
like, so maybe it's part of a religious, maybe this religious group has a sect that's older or something like that, and or maybe Jujutsu sorcerers like worship them or something. There's so much going on that, and you never know what's like actually set up or what's supposed to be. Oh, this is a cool underground like settlement or whatever. Is that supposed to be? It's just cool underground city. Like, look how cool this is, or is it? I have a feeling like all of these little details are informing us about something. With just how the series has gone on so far. Usually like these details like that are formative, you know?
Yeah.
They could have shown us anything down there, but they showed us that. Is kind of how it is. So yeah, I guess all of this is just about like Tengen-sama's very mysterious. Tengen-sama's very there's just so much unknowns, and I'm curious to see any more about that. But I figure this episode is probably just going to be an absolute ballroom blitz, so we should probably just get into it. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's go. Oh god, new animation with it too. Why's he smiling? This guy.
Kaisen. Ah, そういう意味ね。Gojo Satoru は俺が殺した。
Yeah, some people are like, oh, he was just doing his job. It's like, someone just doing their job isn't like, haha, I just killed someone that wasn't part of the job.
I think he's proud. He kind of was. He was guarding the target. I'd be proud if it was my mission to kill Gojo Satoru. That was crazy.
Shit, that was like one of his best ones.
Yeah, he always pulls out that giant dragon.
焦んなよ。
That was really cool how he blocked the bullets with the squid.
Maybe Mai was inspired by this moment with her ability.
Zenins and their guns, man. What the fuck? I thought guns were illegal in Japan. Why are there so many? Like, I guess they bend the rules. They also murder's also illegal, I guess, in Japan. Are we gonna? I bet we're gonna see Shoko pull up like immediately. Oh shit. Oh shit.
高青年と貴子は隠す結果入り口に見張りは置けない扉の位置さえ分かっちまえばあとはザルこの時期から術師は忙しくな妖刀が溢れている外はてんやわんやさ磁力のない俺は透明人間みたいなもんだでも一つ問題があってなそれを持つと呪具の磁力で透明人間じゃなくなる
Which is why he has that fucking... That's sick. Which is why he has that cursed spirit. Because he can store it in there. Yeah.
皆まで言うな。それじゃあ今度は呪霊の呪力で通ってんだろ。呪霊に自らの体を格納させてサイズを落とす。
Holy shit.
That's gross how it is like swallowing itself too.
これで俺はあらゆる呪具を携帯したまま結界を素通りできる。常に呪具を使用しなかったのはそういうことだ。
Thanks for explaining all this. I feel like Geto's not listening.
もういい。天与呪縛だろう。術師と同様に情報の開示が能力の底上げになることは知っている。のはそこじゃない。
Stop telling me about your powers. I don't want to make you stronger.
私たちは毛ほども残影を残さなかった。
人間が残す痕跡は残影だけじゃねえ。集積、足跡。
Everybody's thinking in terms of like jujutsu sorcery, but they left footprints. What the fuck?
Great.
そうか。やはりお前は死ね。
Oh my god. This looks so sick.
Just destroying it in
We're about
here.
to learn why Gojo said we're the strongest, I think, right now. Oh my god. Everyone was hyping up Gojo versus Toji, but this is, I feel like this is insane already. Oh my god!
Well, apparently that's irrelevant.
What's this crazy sword? This like this like Zanpakuto looking shit. Did he just use the world? Did Dio just use the world? Tengen-sama? Wait, what is this? No, the slit-mouthed woman.
仮想温度質問に答えるのでお互いに私の強制する簡易領域ああそうだなここはあえて趣味じゃねえそういう感じね 終わりだな
Oh, it was a simple domain, so he could slice through it with the cursed weapon, because the cursed energy of the weapon would be greater than the inside of the thing. Yeah.
Haikyuu 換算で2級以上の差があれば合木を省きほぼ無条件で取り込める
I'm interrupting this reaction because I'm editing this right now. And going back to the umbrella theory, Geto says here, if there's roughly a 2-grade difference in our levels, I skip making them submit and absorb them unconditionally. Which means that if he did absorb a higher level cursed spirit, say like a cursed spirit version of Noritoshi Kamo or like a Sukuna level thing, then he would have to do it with a condition. And that might explain, like we've theorized, a difference in his philosophy regarding jujutsu sorcerers and people and cursed spirits being like the ultimate humans or whatever. Maybe this is set up for him absorbing a higher level cursed spirit and needing a condition, just something that Lindsay has pointed out in our theorizing a lot. Just wanted to point that out since I saw this while editing. Back to the video.
能力は特殊だが呪霊自体は強くない取り込める武器庫は抑えたあとは物量でご利用
As if he's just gonna let you steal his Pokemon. No way!
Ow.
Shit. He could have. It feels like. Why does it feel like he could have fucked him up way worse? That all happened while they were falling?
術師なら死なねえ程度に切った式神使いなら殺したがお前の死後取り込んでた呪霊がどうなるかは
Oh
If they all
shit.
just like explode.
Yeah, if he swallows
こ
them.
とは避けたい親に恵まれたなだがその恵まれたお前らが事実も俺みたいな猿に負けたってこと長生きしたきゃ忘れんなああめぐみってそうだったそうだった
Megumi.
俺が名付けたんだった
He remembered his son. Maybe he was giving him like a fatherly life lesson there, and he was like, "Remember that," and then that
And
triggered.
he's like, oh yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you're blessed with parentage." He was probably telling his kid like, your family is like this, and you're blessed with that, but don't, that's not everything.
ほらよ
Wait, what?
聖書体天内理子の遺体5体フルセットだ確かに万世教は奈良時代天元様が日本仏教の広がりとともに術師というマイノリティに対する道徳基盤を説いたのが始まり呪術界と宗教法人の相性は採用されたのが現在の万世教時の器の会だから我々は非術師の立場に徹して意見を許されている術師も原則非術師には手を出せないからだが時が来てしまった経典に示されたタブー立てた万世教天元様と汚れの動画京都の手前動画を見過ごせば会が立ち行くかといって行動が過ぎれば術師に
Where is he taking this teenage girl's body?
もうやけくそだったんだ
Yeah.
我々はそれがどうだ失うはずだった全てが今や手中にある今も緩むというものもし天元が暴走すれば立ち行かなくなるのは人間社会かもしれねえぜ星と共に落ちるのならばやむなし
People who are really religious don't really care if everyone dies. That's kind of part of it, I feel like.
Yeah. They don't give a shit.
It's like everyone dies, but they get rewarded.
金持ちは考え方のスケールが違うその金で飯食おう接待に使ってる店連れてけよやだよお前男におんねえじゃんお前と関わるのはな
仕事か地獄でだけって決めてんだよ。
Did Toji just get rejected?
Yep.
He's just like, let's go on a take me to where you take your clients. And then the guy's just like, no. He looks pretty sour about it. Oh, shit.
Yo, 久しぶり。
I've decided I wanted to steal your son.
おー、元気ピンピンだよ。
反転術式。
せっかい。お前の
Oh, wait, did Shoko not show up? But he figured it out? And now he's gonna do his crazy attack? No way.
And now he can do his like special thing
Yes.
because he understands it better.
He
just looks so-
I mean, he did just suffer serious brain damage.
ペラペラとこいつ灰になってる。
Holy shit.
力で掴んだ力の確信。
What?
お前の敗因は俺を首ちょんぱしなかった頭をぶっ刺すのにあの呪具を使わなかったこと。
はい勝負はこれからだろう。
Well, he doesn't have the benefit of surprise at this point.
そうかもな。
Literally high on
fucking
life.
crazy.
He's just like, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I know the secrets of the universe.
He's not debuffed at this point, unless being almost dead counts.
術式判
Here it is. Aka.
化け物だ。
So
反転術式によって生まれた生のエネルギーが刻まれた無加減の術式に流し込
what a
ん
smart guy. He's just figuring it out right away.
I mean, he has to know,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you don't have it, you still have to know because of this exact situation.
強化した無加減呪術青そして3弾く力
Yeah.
術式反転赤
Blue is like a black hole, whereas red is like outward pushing force.
違和感違和感いやこれで
Is it?
殺す
Oh shit! I'd be keeping that weapon a lot closer to me. But then again, I'm not Toji.
He's just like so in the zone
It's
right
like
now.
he got a fucking Zenkai boost. Like, this is Dragon Ball Z, he almost died and now he's like super strong.
誰も憎んじゃいない。
He has no enemies.
He has no enemies.
今はただこの世界が心地いい。
So much flowers. Is he about to do the thing?
天上天下唯我独尊。代々伝わる送電の術式のメリットは取説があること。デメリット術式の情報が漏れやすいこと。あんた全員家の人間だろ。無加減呪術のことはよく知ってるわけだ。これは五条家の中でもごく一部の人間しか知らない。
But what? Is he supposed to use purple or is it something else? Wait.
順天と反
Yeah.
転。
Purple.
それぞれの無限を衝突させることで仮想の質量を押し出す。挙式、紫。
Oh god.
違和感
Just get erased from existence.
いつもの俺ならそう言ってとんずらこいただが目の前には覚醒した無加減呪術の
Is that what happened to Toji? He's just gonna kill him right
最
now?
強となった術師否定したくなったねじ伏せてみたくなった否定した全員家呪術界その頂点を自分を肯定するためにいつもの自分を曲げちまったその時点で負けていた
He never ran out on Megumi. Oh my god.
Oh, that's freaky.
He never ran out on him. Gojo.
自分も他人も尊ぶことない肩を選んだんだろうが
He was a good dad.
I mean,
He just had
No.
a bad memory.
ねえよ23年もしたら
he's gonna say, "Come get my kid." Yeah.
家に売られる
Don't let
好き
him.
にしろ
Okay. Oh my
Oh, look his
god.
hand there.
Yeah. Holy
I hope
shit.
no one else was just like behind him.
Damn.
That's really fucked up.
Oh my god, it's cut in half. He had that in Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Yeah. It's freaky.
So that was showing that he has it now. What the hell is this? What the fuck is this?
Literally, what what is happening?
Tengen-sama? Or is this the Jujutsu sorcerer world? Them retrieving the
遅か
bodies?
ったなすぐ
These don't look like real people.
早い方が
Is this the religious facility? Oh yeah, where
悟だよ何が私は問題ないいや私に問題がなくても仕方ないな俺がしくったは悪くない戻ろうすぐるこいつら殺すか
Whoa, what?
多分何も感じない
Holy shit, what?
いい意味がないここには一般教徒しかいない主犯の人間はもう逃げた後だろう違ってもうこの状況は言い逃れできないもともと問題のあった団体だ時期解体される意味ねそれ本当に必要か
Dude, this is crazy.
are all those people just like
They're the believers, they're religious
大事な
group.
ことだ特に術師にはな
He wants to kill these people so fucking bad.
意外な一面
Holy shit! Oh my god. So, real quick, if there was any more proof to my Gojo theory than what we just saw,
yeah, but I mean,
this is like, this is the birth of that side of Gojo that I was talking about before. Like, oh, should we just kill them all right now? What's the point? Does there need to be a point to it? This is an extreme version of that. Where, and then over the next, like, whatever, 15 years or whatever it is, 10 years, something like that?
it's not even that many years because he
2006 to
because
20...
Toji just said in 2 or 3 years, my son's gonna get sold off.
Yeah.
So that means that's when Gojo went and got him, which
Yeah.
was only like 2 years ago in our thing. So it's like only like 5 years later.
I'm talking to the present time, like to where I was saying that like, oh, he seems to be talking an awful lot about just like murdering everybody. So this is like obviously the extreme of that because something terrible just happened. But like, this, oh my god, this episode was so good. This episode was
a really good
so good. Like so much character shit to dig into here. I love this. This is awesome. First of all, what do you think of it first? Do you have any thoughts about it before we just like break down everything?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good episode. I liked
I liked how they redid the animation for when she got shot at the beginning,
Yeah.
showing in different, just you know,
and
not
also in like
reusing it.
less of a slow motion effect. Like we weren't getting like the shot of Geto's face, like which was really good, but you know, just something a little bit different. And it's so interesting to see the inside of all these buildings because like nothing's there, as well. Like they're all just hallways. Which is,
are they all? They're all hallways.
from what we
thought it was
saw, they were
rooms.
all hallways.
I figured it was like, oh, I guess when we look down at them, that is just like a ring of buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit! I thought it was more like a city.
No, like
no,
it
just-
seems like it's just.
I mean, based on what we learned from that crazy, the Pope, the Star Religious Group Pope, he seems like this is probably their handiwork, right?
Well, I don't know, because it's saying that like they were always in opposition to Jujutsu sorcerers, and it seems like Tengen like never supported them or like wanted them to do this shit at all.
Tengen, the way that Tengen was described seems, at least like if we're interpreting it, it seems like Tengen was sort of like a messianic, like a prophetic figure, not a messianic figure, like a prophet of Jujutsu sorcerers or something like that. Somebody who preaches like, he was preaching like the morality and the boundaries of like Jujutsu sorcerers. And stuff like that. I wonder if he was a Gojo. If Tengen is a Gojo clan member.
Interesting. It's just it's like obviously if Tengen supported those guys, Tengen would just not take a new vessel and would just let whatever was gonna happen. So like what's funny is like they already have their answer of like what their god wants. And they're just like actively trying to sabotage it.
Yeah, they have this like
because they have their own thing that they want.
They have this weird idea of purity.
And it's so fucked when you see all these like random just like old people and like just like people
that's crazy.
And they're all clapping at this dead teenage girl being paraded through them. They're like, "Oh, amazing! She's dead! Hooray!" It's like, what?
I wonder what that is. Like, are they applaud? Like, is it just like, oh, they tell that Gojo's like a super powerful sorcerer and they're like applauding him?
No, they don't like sorcerers. I don't even know if like they are applauding that she's dead and they got their way.
It's just a crazy. I'm just saying. I'm coming up with other interpretations. Like. Because it's so crazy to do that.
I think they're
like,
just excited about her dead body. They're like, oh,
they're very proud of what they've done today.
Also was suspicious that, like, what if she wasn't even actually the vessel and she was just a random girl that was, like, a decoy, and meanwhile someone else was getting the real vessel?
That's really smart. I didn't think of that, but, you know, you're probably right.
And
if they were smart at all about it,
I was just thinking about it, I'm like, they knew that all these guys were, like, gonna come after them in some way. Although Toji being involved, like, took it up to another level. But, they've done this however many times. Tengen's been alive for, like, hundreds of years. So, like, you know, you'd think you'd maybe figure out a good strategy of, like, having a decoy that's really obvious. You, like, place her with these guys who are really flashy and, like, really well-known and are, like, gonna cause up a big stir. And like you make
it really loud about it, like, and not keep it a secret at all.
Because that's the thing. It's like if you wanted to secretly get someone, then how the fuck did all of these like it? Not only did that religious group know, but whatever other
Q. There's a star religious group who's the non-sorcerers, and there's Q, who is the people that were hired.
And it's like how did all of those people? And it wasn't even like they just knew instantly where she was gonna be when they were supposed to be getting her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be really smart. You're right.
Convenient.
If they really wanted to, yeah, they could leak it. They could leak and put these kids up to it, and then you know the real person could just go otherwise. But it's also Tengen-sama lets people into the barrier, so Tengen-sama like let them into the barrier where Tengen-sama is. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's definitely a smarter way to do it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it works, or if there's like multiple people that like could be suitable, so it's not like the absolute end of the world that she died, but just like inconvenient, you know?
Is that Megumi? Is this just Toji?
That's Toji, and then the baby's Megumi.
With Megumi, yeah, that's what I thought, but it's just he's just so much less beefy and younger that I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. That's like the
seems like he's not, and it's so crazy that Gojo, like, it's so crazy that Gojo just like let him think that his dad's out there somewhere and like resent him that his dad ran out on them. He's like, oh, my dad and my stepmom like just ran away and left me and my stepsister just fucking alone.
Fucked up.
Gojo's just like,
and he's
just
like,
letting
oh,
him
your
think
dad
that.
sold you to me. His dad like asked him nicely to take care of him.
Yeah, I wonder, well, because he obviously didn't want, like, I think okay, so here's, Toji's basically like, I think that he's not saying, don't let him be like me, but that's pretty much what he's saying. He's like, my kid's gonna get sold to the Zenin clan in a couple years, so do with that what you will. And what he's saying is like, since you killed me, at least make sure that my kid doesn't end up like me, killing sorcerers and like being a gambler, being like a low life running around. And it seems like he must just have a fucking terrible memory, because it doesn't seem like he's a...
Well, I mean, if you look at it seems like he's obviously just never around. Like, if you look at this clip, like Megumi is clearly
maybe
not
he's okay.
happy.
So maybe he's not the best example of a father out there, but we had thought maybe he's also not the complete monster who, you know, is just a deadbeat piece of shit and is a completely disregarding his kid, because part of that impression was based off the idea that he ran out on them.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas he took his wife's name and you know, apparently from what we know, they were like really in love, and you know, it wasn't fake. And I don't know, because like a lot of the like, oh, he's a deadbeat dad is like, we see him gambling here, we see him like off on his own, he's killing people, he's a mercenary, he's an assassin type figure. And we know in the past that, or we know from the future events that he like ran out on his kids. So what's that about? And then we just learned he didn't run out on his kids. And we also know, based on Maki's backstory, that she's very similar to Toji, but obviously Toji just rejected everything entirely and left, whereas Maki is trying to prove herself and rise to the top within the Zenin clan. But similar thing where Zenins apparently are fucking assholes and just not, you know, don't care anything about you if you're not like the golden child, like basically like Megumi is. Yeah. So what I'm getting at is like, maybe he's not the maybe there's this more complicated at the very least.
It's definitely more complicated, but you know, like it's still kind of comes down to, at the end of the day, it's like, if he had like been around or like made himself known as like a good dad in any way to Megumi, then Megumi would have remembered that, because clearly it's not like he was a baby at this point. Like he, in 2 to 3 years, he'll be going into jujutsu high school. Yeah. So, you know, like and even if he did care, like, more than he thought, like, maybe more even than he thought, like, if he's, like, just, like, forgetting and, like, being like, oh, I don't really care, but then when he's about to die, he's, like, he's thinking about it more, he's thinking about his kid and the fact that he's not going to be around for him and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, he can still be, like, a shitty dad who was, like, barely ever around, but also still have cared about his kid in his own, like, kind of messed up way after, like, having obviously a really shitty and abusive family. Yeah,
it seems like he's got a lot of unresolved trauma, and because of that, he's not the best dad. But it's also like I mentioned before, how he said last time, he's like, oh, I don't remember guys' names. And wouldn't you know, Megumi's name is Megumi. So it's like I guess it's a unisex name, but I think of it more as a feminine name, but I'm not sure. But yeah, so is that's kind of coincidental, wouldn't you say? Like that like we think he's this terrible dad, but then he mentions, and obviously I'm not saying he's a great dad, but I don't know. It's just more complicated than that, and it's clear that it's more complicated than that, because at the end he was saying, like, you know, make sure my kid doesn't turn out like me, and he's thinking of his kid right before he dies. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, and it's just also very interesting. Like it's saying a lot about. It's saying a lot about Megumi's life, but it's also saying a lot about Gojo, because he is not correcting Megumi, and I don't know if it's out of shame. I don't think that Gojo, based on how he's reacting at the end here, like, he probably doesn't. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad.
Well, I think at this point, like, I think here, the way that he's feeling right now is a result of him feeling like a literal god, because he just became the most powerful person to exist in the world at this time. He just unlocked, like, he is already so, like, incredibly powerful, and then he just took it to the next level that even most people who like in the history of his clan that have ever been that powerful, like, it's so crazy that, like, no one even knows about it because it's so rare. So I think him just like feeling that, like when Toji's like, he's high right now, like
Yeah.
it was just like on another level, and he's like, and also the fact that he knows that he might care at some point, because even when he says, I could kill all these people, and I probably, like, right now, I know I wouldn't, like, feel any way about it. That doesn't mean that later on...
I'm not saying he's evil.
Yeah, no.
That's not what
I guess I'm saying is, like, I wonder, like, if he does feel guilt, like, when he goes and, like, gets Megumi, if he's not telling him because he does kind of feel guilty, or just like doesn't really want to have to like deal with that. And
I don't
like,
think so.
No?
That could be your interpretation. My interpretation goes with my previous interpretation of Gojo, is that this is an extreme version of what he is currently feeling now. I think that these events are setting up not only, I mean, the whole point of this arc is setting up how Geto feels, and how he, reacted to all this, and how he went on his path, but we're also seeing how Gojo went on his path. And Gojo, for Gojo and Geto seem to have, like, not switched places, or it seems like they would switch places, because, like, Geto's the one who's all about, oh, let's band together, let's help people, let's do all this stuff. And then they're challenged by this sect of Jujutsu worshippers who are just normal people. So then he's like, all of these people are fucking assholes. Like, maybe, like, this is one building block towards him rejecting that and thinking that they're like monkeys and not worth anything. I think this is also, in a similar way, this isn't a building block towards Gojo being a happy-go-lucky guy who just wants to help everybody and who's like a great hero. I see this as a building block towards Gojo's own reservations about the Jujutsu world, and why he's always in opposition to them, and why he's always trying to bend the rules and bend people to his side. And I think in that interpretation, I see that as why he didn't tell Megumi. I think that he sees what happened. I think in the years following, if he does reflect on Toji, I think he will see this whole situation as like the Zenin clan are assholes and they twisted Toji to be like this, and they will do the same to Megumi if I don't do anything. So what I'll do is I'll spin my own story, or I'll hide some information, or I'll just raise Megumi as best as I can as to be like in the image as my student, and to hold my ideals, and that's the same as all the other people. That's why he paid, what's her name, fucking Mei Mei, and to vouch for the first and second years to be like higher level sorcerers at the end of season 1. It's like he's building everything. He's building up his own sort of faction in all of this to probably not, I don't know about fight back. I don't think fighting necessarily, but just like rejecting this dogma and the way that things are, because the status quo led Riko to die, led all of this shit to happen, and led him to almost die, and Toji to be in that situation to kill them, and not that he's silly enough to take all of this as like an example of everything that's going on in the whole world, but this is one. I see this as, like I said, a building block toward that idea. So I see it less of a building block, like I said, towards him being happy-go-lucky perfect hero guy, and more him being not full anti-hero either, but skeptical and moving towards his own sort of idea is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well,
in the same way where Geto is going towards his shit.
Well, it's like, I think we talked about this, whatever, in that basketball scene. Was that the first episode?
Yeah.
I think we talked about this before then too, of how Gojo, because of how powerful he is and because of how easy it would be for him to kill everyone, he has to like deal with that and like move past this feeling of they are separate from me and I can just kill them because it doesn't matter, because I can. So in order for him to like stay sane and not just like get drunk on his power and like go crazy, he has to like think about people and like where he draws the line between I'll just kill this entire religious group, but then does it stop there, or then do you move on to like how Geto got to be, where it's just like, let's just kill all normal people, let's kill everyone who's not Jujutsu sorcerers. But obviously Gojo is really opposed to that, and I think it's because like of the conclusion that he ends up coming to of like, you have to put value on life, which is what Geto originally was all about, and then like kind of got bitter. But Gojo, he was kind of like whatever about it, but he did care. But he actually like really had to like think about things, and I think put a lot of like boundaries in place for himself to be able to just be a person and have empathy and not just turn into a villain, because it would be easy. He could be the ultimate supervillain. No one could stop him. And he doesn't want to be, and he is like actively making the choice to not be a villain.
And the story's not over yet. We got one more episode, but there's also like years and years between as well. And and because obviously he's not a villain as it turns out, but I think that the point is like it's not so black and white. Gojo and Geto are literally black and white. Like it's in their designs. It's baked visually into how they look and how they come off in general. It's like Gojo's like so happy-go-lucky, and he's all sexy, and he's all the girls swoon for him, and he's all cool, and he's got the cool powers, he's got the white hair and stuff like that. He's supposed to be like, image of good, yet here he is like considering killing all these people out of hatred, basically, and bitterness. So I think that it's, obviously I'm not saying that he turns out to be a villain, but I think what the show is getting at is that it's not all black and white. And that's what we're gonna see with Geto, and what we see with Geto in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. It's like he goes from this to what led somebody to be like so altruistic and so wanting to help people to complete monster.
And it's clearly like this is.
And is he a complete monster?
Well, that's the other thing as well. It's like this starting point where he is clear. Like Gojo's like, I could just kill all these people, and then Geto's like, no, but secretly he's.
I think that it's not no.
He's really also pissed, but he knows that it's wrong. But then I think as like more things happen, like he finds those girls that are like locked in a cage or whatever, and like sees more and more like mistreatment of like his people, then like he just gets more and more bitter, and like the line becomes like farther and farther apart between like normal people and jujutsu sorcerers, and like he feels like he has to do something about that. But then also with the umbrella theory that we had before, that it's just like it almost makes it more sad if like Geto is actually dead and he's like it's just his body being possessed later on, because then it's like this is not even relevant to what's happening what's actually happening in the rest of the story right now. This is just like the doubly sad, tragic backstory of the guy from the prequel who was the villain, who just kind of got like messed up along the way and then got killed, and then what I mean, who like it could still be Geto, but like from everything that I'm seeing here and everything that I'm seeing in the movie, I feel like it just enforces the theory even more.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like to me, with all of the rest of the writing being so good, that like that major of a leap, you would have to like go through some crazy conveniences with
for it to go completely altruistic to completely misanthropic entirely, jujutsu sorcerer or not, completely just separated.
It's so easy to see like how he went from at the beginning of this to how he was in Jujutsu Kaisen 0. That's like it makes sense as a story. From that to then where it is just in Jujutsu Kaisen, it's like not particularly, you know. Unless he has some kind of crazy elaborate master plan and stuff.
And again, it might be a pact as well, why he's working with all those people, right? Like, because that's the other thing is we don't know about a pact he could have made with this person that is possibly possessing him, Kamo or whoever it is. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but about the whole scene, it's like, this is, again, like seeing this as a stepping stone towards their future and not like obviously the destination. It's like Gojo is along that path to like, you know, he could let loose in a second, but he obviously doesn't, and he works for the forces of good, you could say. But he's just like, it's like temptation. It's like what we're seeing with Geto is he's just like, he's coming up, he's like being the sensible one, as he always is. He's like, as a teenager. He's just like, oh, we could, it'll be dissolved. This'll happen. There's no point doing this. There's multiple different facilities. Killing these people won't make a difference in like the greater scope of the conflict or the situation. It's just going to,
Sorry, I also just thought of like, in the present day, he's always like, oh, it's the higher ups that are like the cause of a lot of the like basically he's like, it's the government that is the problem here, not just the normal people.
Gojo?
Well,
who are you talking?
Yes, Gojo.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting here because because it's like, no, none of the higher up people are here anyway, so there's no point because these are just the people. So it's like the same idea later that he then like keeps applying to like everything else basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's you're right actually. It's kind of literally what he says to was he talking to Yuji or was he talking to Shoko and fucking it was when Yuji was dead on the table and he was talking about
the higher ups.
I could just kill them all right now, fucking whatever. And but it's obviously killing like a bunch of random people isn't going to do anything because the system is what needs to be changed, and that's kind of what he's saying here. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
It's possibly like the start of like that kind of.
Oh, it's
idea.
definitely. It's not possibly.
Yeah.
We're seeing how he evolves into the person that he becomes. That's the whole point of the backstory. Yeah, to me, there's no doubt. And that first of all, was just so shocking to see that. Like, see him talk like that. See him in this episode, like, just totally unhinged.
Yeah. I also really like this end scene, too, here. How they, how like, Geto's, like, all in the light and Gojo's all in the dark there.
Yeah.
But then, as it goes on, then it's, like, he's really like, fucked up, too. Like, just because there's like that like great visual representation, but then it's like, no, it's a really fucked up situation and is affecting him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I feel like there was some more to extrapolate from all this. Was he talking about fucking I wonder. So I mentioned it, but I wonder. It was something that Gojo said, or something that Toji said, or something that the Star Religious Group guy said about Tengen-sama, or something. It was like maybe it was like they were saying like heaven and earth, and Tengen, I think means, I forget what it means. It's something like it's heaven or earth or heaven or I don't know what it means. I need to look it up, but it was something that they said that made me think that there was a connection to like Limitless technique and Tengen-sama's shit, which would make sense if the Gojo clan is like one of the biggest sorcerer clans, and like the Limitless technique is obviously like insane, and it deals with like space time and gravity and shit like that, and Tengen-sama's whole thing is creating barriers and shit. It would make sense that like Tengen is possibly an ancestor of Gojo's to some degree. That's just a random thing, but it was something about like not any one thing that somebody said, I guess, but it was like multiple people were saying multiple things about like Tengen-sama or about like the Limitless technique or about shit like that.
Well, I think that could, like, that's definitely.
It seems like it would make the most sense if they were part of a clan.
Yeah, and especially if like with kind of the similar themes of Tengen being able to like ascend to that higher plane and like become a god, but having to like Tengen has to restrain themselves in like the humanity, and it's the same with Gojo, where Gojo could just do whatever he wants with it's a limitless, like his technique is called like the limitless technique, and it's like he could potentially, like, especially where he's at now or where he's gonna be at in like 15 more years, he could just destroy the world, and Tengen is kind of in a similar situation where, if you didn't but Tengen's making the choice to like take these sacrifices basically, even though it's like kind of a horrible thing, but like just for the greater good of everyone else. So it is interesting and would be interesting, and we also know that like Gojo's family like goes back like a long time as well. Like with the three main like Jujutsu families or whatever are really old, so it could make sense if Tengen was
was a Gojo
Yeah.
person. Yeah. Or maybe all
or like
three.
an offshoot, or like related in some way to. Yeah.
Yeah, it just says, I forget exactly what line like put it in my head, but if you think about it, just kind of like if Tengen were to be part of a clan, it seems like having something related to Gojo's crazy power just seems like kind of it makes the most sense based
if you're
on
like an omnipotent tree person.
Well, because also
that
if you just think about all three clans like techniques, it's like blood from Kamo, shadow Shikigami from fucking Zenin, and then like space time gravity, you know, like spatial shit, like godly powers from fucking Gojo.
And also, with the whole...
And the eyes, the awareness, like being the vision of being able to see.
With the whole, like, when Gojo was, like, being bathed in sunlight and, like, looking like he was being blessed.
Gojo's
like,
often always compared to gods. And, like, the fact that they are, like, applauding, like, who could put that thought in your head? Like, they seem to be, like, applauding. They're not exactly like we talked about, because they're just fucking crazy and are basically taunting these guys covered in blood who just are carrying out the body of a dead child. But you know, it's almost it could be
worshiping him.
Yeah, it's like there's similar like imagery or like a connection there. So maybe that's something. Maybe not. Obviously, it's all speculation. But yeah, Gojo's obviously shown like as a godly or as like something above regular sorcerers or humanity. So yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to assume that. But they said there's somebody said that I wanted to go back to, like some lines. Monotheistic religion, absolute god. It was like some wordplay that I think Toji said when he was doing it was like negative and positive energy, or he was talking about all that, and he was like heaven and earth or something like that. Hang on. Oh, and also one more thing. Toji died with the fucking cursed tool out. And the cursed spirit ran away, but the cursed tool was like the chain when he did purple. It was the chain was cut and it like fell to the ground.
So Gojo probably grabbed that.
So Gojo has it, or it was just left there, or the spirit. Like we didn't see what happened to the tool specifically, but the spirit went to Geto. So maybe it sucked up the sword if Gojo didn't take that.
Yeah,
we didn't see
Gojo
with it.
Gojo would have wanted to take it because he got
killed by it. Yeah. So then maybe he would have it. So yeah, I just want to point that out. But let's see, I forget. It was when he was talking about the technique.
はいになってる。
はい。
死に際で掴んだ重力の革新。お殺すのにあの呪具を使わなかったこと。
はい。ショッピーだ。骨は言ってねえな。
Heaven. Yeah, Tengen means heaven.
無加減技術。反転術式によって生まれた生のエネルギーとして流し込む、引き寄せる力。強化した無加減技術。
今はただただ。天上天下唯我独尊に伝わる送電の術式のメリットは取説があること。デメリットは術式の情報が漏れやすいこと。家の人間だろう。無加減呪術のことはよく知ってる。五条家の中でもごく一部の人間しか知らない。
Only a scant few know about it.
順天と反転、それぞれの無限を衝突させることで生成される仮想の質量を押し出す。挙式、紫。
It's interesting to see as well how like later when he does it, it's like so huge and just goes on for so long.
He just like shreds up an entire valley. Like here, it's just like a laser beam that like just pierces him, and it's like big, but it's like before.
But compared to
later,
like
it's
later,
like a huge thing. Yeah. Really good episode. One of my favorites of the show, I think, especially with this after credits. Overall, like just seeing seeing Gojo just go full dark mode was so crazy.
I also think that it's really interesting how before when he was like feeling really good and he's like he like basically is like I have no enemies kind of thing. He's like, oh,
he's like transcended.
Everything is so awesome. I just feel so wonderful right now. And he's like just about to kill this guy.
Yeah.
But he's like, he doesn't feel bad.
Nothing. Just like how he's like
to me, it seemed like he was like high and then he like came down from it, but was feeling really empty at that moment. Like instead of feeling full of life and power, he was feeling empty and void of anything. Like like similar to how his like power is like kind of like everything and nothing at the same time. It's like he had like just ascended to a new level, and then when he came down from that and the girl was still dead and it didn't solve anything, then he was feeling really empty. To me at least, that's kind of what it seemed like. It just had a different tone to it, and yeah, it could be because there was like other people there, but to me it seemed like he was just like back to reality and unsatisfied and like empty. He didn't
seem overly angry, but the thing about like curse techniques and curse energy is that they work off of your emotions, and that's where all the energy comes from. So like this complete balance and manipulation of his emotions, and the ability to create this power, this negative and positive sort of clash, and this sort of like gravitational like thing here. It takes obviously a lot of focus and a lot of mental like strength and security. So like I feel like that's partly why he was able to pull it off in this moment, is because he was so centered and he was so like disconnected from everything. Is like, in order to grant this godly power, you need to it's kind of like Buddhism. It's like you need to, in order to ascend to like a higher plane or to achieve enlightenment, you need to like disconnect yourself from mortal and physical connections, and like, stop, like disconnect yourself from the outcome of your actions and live presently in the moment and be present in your mind and stuff like that. So like as he's dying and as he ascends to this greater power, and he because he needs this level of focus and this disconnection from people in order to achieve this level of power, when we see it from another perspective, it's like he's sort of losing that connection, and he's feeling more of like enlightened in a way. And Buddhism was mentioned directly in relation to the Star religious group as well. So I feel like that connection might be worth something. So I feel like it could be either way, but I feel like in order to achieve this level of power, you would need to be in supreme control of your emotions and supreme control of your body, and be disconnected from like the outcome of everything, and be sort of numb. Like you need to sort of numb yourself to empathy and stuff like that, and sort of disconnect yourself in order to achieve that kind of enlightenment, relating it to Buddhism. So then like that same sort of thing is buzzing in him at this point, and he's just kind of like, this fucking sucks. I don't like this. Should we just kill these people? And, whatever. Because he just is losing, he's in danger of losing that connection like we've been talking about this whole time. This episode was so good. You still don't like Toji?
What? What do you mean I still don't
Lindsay
like it?
hates Jujutsu guys. She's the only girl who hates Jujutsu guys for some reason.
Like, Toji's okay. Like, I don't know what you want me to say.
I'm just joking. Do you think you would like him more if he had long hair?
No.
Really?
I really like long
hair. I got a lot of like Madara vibes from him.
Yeah,
at the start here, especially.
For Madara, it's not about the hair though. It's just about the vibes.
I feel like he has a very good vibe about him. If you won't take him, I will.
Go ahead.
See you guys next week. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.